So there you are, you're in Zimbabwe, you've been there decades.
100 years.
You have, you know, let's say 1,000-ish employees spread across you know, considerable number of branches. Each one of those employees, because despite what Christine and I might think occasionally, Standard Chartered pays reasonably well, so they've got a reasonably good income, and they are supporting extended families, each of them in Zimbabwe. And it's quite clear that if they lost their job with Standard Chartered, given the current situation in Zimbabwe, they'd be very unlikely they'd find any other employment. So you have that on the one side, and on the other side you have the international community saying, you know, how on earth can you justify still operating in Zimbabwe when all that's going on there? You know, you are the board, make that judgment call. You know, if you pull out, then, you know, what are the implications for the loyal staff who've worked for you for years, and you know, you feel you have an obligation too. You know, if you stay in there, then you risk continuing headlines criticising your presence in Zimbabwe. You know, and those are things which, fortunately, you know, I don't have to make that level of decision. But there are people, you know, on the floor below who, you know, that is a very real decision that they have to make.
And it's the good thing about Standard Chartered, I think, is that there is a culture whereby, you know, rather than being out of the tent, as it were, you'd rather be in the tent, trying to help find a better way to do things. So it's a two-way process. So there's a lot of influencing from within goes on, and that's actually very laudable. That's a much more powerful way to be a force for good than, you know, just not to do. You know, I'm not going to deal with that country, stroke sector ever. You know, actually what you do is, you know, try and engage with them and try and get a more constructive outcome over time, accepting it's not going to happen overnight. You know, I'll only do this if you don't have more children.